Hi, I'm Ken Lammers. Welcome to Minor League Matters, and it's time for the weekly Independent Baseball Report. And so we're going to get right down to it. In the Pacific Association, the San Rafael Pacifics, there's an original name for you, are 17 and 7 at the top of the league, with the Sonoma Stompers 2 games back, and the Vallejo Miners back 3 games. So still a pretty close league. In the Empire League, Empire Professional Baseball League, I think is what the official title is, but the Empire League, New Hampshire Wild are out front 7-2. This is a pretty early days for them. The Puerto Rico Islanders are at 7-4, so they're a game back. The New York Bucks are 6-4, a game and a half back, and the Old Orchard Beach Surge, there's a mouthful for you, are at 7-5, a game and a half back. So early days there. They've still got to shake things out to see who's going to be where. Pecos League in the Southern Division, the Roswell Invaders are still on top at 24 and 10, and the Tucson Saguaros are right behind them, 22 and 10, 1 game back. In the Mountain Division, the Trinidad Triggers are still on top at 28 and 8, and the Alpine '06 Cowboys are at 26 and 10, 2 games back. Still the same kind of standing as they were before. Uh, but we have changes in the Pacific Division Conference, however you want to state it. Bakersfield Train Robbers have moved to the top. They've actually obviously been on a run, and they're at 22 and 14. The High Desert Yardbirds, who were on top previously, are 19 and 16 and down 2.5 games. So that's a flip, pretty big flip actually. Moving on to the Frontier League in the East, Lake Erie Crushers, my team in the East, are up 25 to 17, or with 25 and 17 record. Unfortunately, the Washington Wild Things are tied with them at 25 and 17 at the top of the East, and the Schaumburg Boomers, who are somehow in the East despite the fact that they're out by Chicago, are at 22 and 19, and they're 2.5 back. In the West, the Evansville Otters, my favorite team out of the West, are at 25 and 18, up at the top, and they have sole possession of the top, with the Southern Illinois Miners at 20 and 18, a game and a half back, and the River City Rascals at 28 and 20, or 22 and 20, a game and a half back. Obviously, there have been some rainouts somewhere. The game is not actually even. Moving on to the kind of the higher level leagues, Can-Am, the Sussex County Miners are still on top at 27 and 12, while the Quebec Capitals are at 23 and 15, 3.5 back. In the Atlantic, we have the Sugarland Skeeters are on top. The Atlantic team, on that Atlantic coast in Texas, are on top 36 to 21. The Lancaster Barnstormers are at 35 and 21, a half game back. That's flipped. Most of the time when I do these announcements, it's Lancaster on top, but they're both obviously running pretty tight with each other. That's in the Freedom Division. In the Liberty Division of the Atlantic Conference, or the Atlantic League, the Somerset Patriots are up 31 to 24 is their record, and they've got a 3-game lead on both the Long Island Ducks and the New Britain Bees. So they're continuing to go along pretty well. And finally, in the American Association, we have in the American Association North, the Gary South Shore Railcats are at 21 and 17, and they're up half a game on the Fargo Moorhead Redhawks, and they're up half a game on St. Paul Saints. This is a switch. As you all recall, St. Paul, every time I've done this previously, has been the one on top, but it's not like they're exactly out of the running at this point. So things could change, could go back, maybe Gary will be able to really push it. We'll see. In the South, we got the Sioux City Explorers at 29 and 10 are still on top, and they're well on top. It's not an unreachable mountain, but they're still 3.5 over the Wichita Wingnuts and 4 over the Kansas City T-Bones. So those are your standings this week in the independent leagues. If you like what you saw here today, hit like. If you like what you see around here generally, hit subscribe. You can direct message me at LammersK on Twitter, or you can leave a comment down below. As always, I promise to try to read them all. I cannot promise to reply to them all because day job actually pays me money as opposed to this hobby, that kind of thing. And one final piece of advice I always give: if you got a little bit of spare money and you got a little bit of spare time, go watch some minor league sports. Y'all have a good week.